We're back to the Total Celebrity Show on the Total Radio Network. Again, TotalTutor.net for more information. Twitter, Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, LinkedIn, Neil Haley, Instagram, Total Tutor, and also Pinterest, Neil Haley. And I am so honored to have on the show an NBA legend. And it's amazing the number of Hall of Famers I've had on the show, and to talk to this guy for sure. I remember him playing with North Carolina, and he got his number retired. I remember the years of winning the NBA champions. So he's a 7-time NBA All-Star, part of the NBA 50th anniversary team, a world champion, a Hall of Fame legend, James Worthy. James, thanks for calling.
It's a pleasure. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and it's fantastic to talk to you. And a lot of times on our show, we focus on life after. But I wanted to kind of look at your career in certain ways because, again, people that, are today's basketball fans in the NBA, they don't look at history and look at the teams when you played with the Lakers and how great a career you have. And so for our audience out there that might not know so much about you, James, I gave you a little bit of a background. How would you summarize your career?
Well, I played basketball for one reason, and really one reason only. When I was in the 8th grade, I decided that I needed to get a scholarship because my parents really weren't going to be able to afford me college. So that was my first incentive, was to, excel in basketball in high school, and then I got a scholarship to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where I played for a great coach, Coach Dean Smith. Was fortunate enough to win a national championship in 1982 alongside Michael Jordan and Sam Perkins as teammates. So I was drafted by the Lakers in 1982, and from that point, I spent my entire career with the Los Angeles Lakers, where we were fortunate enough to win 3 championships in 85 against the Celtics and 87 against the Celtics, and in 1988 we won the back-to-back championships against the Pistons. And from there, there's some All-Star games, 7 All-Star games. Fortunate enough to be inducted into both the college and professional NBA Hall of Fame, and it's been a great career and a great opportunity for me to use my platform, now retired, to give back to the community as best I can.
And that's so true, James. I talked to so many professional athletes and athletes in general. They had a different mindset. Sometimes the ones that stay the course wanted to go to college. They wanted an opportunity to go to college. And it sounds like that's why you got involved in basketball, and it led to something that you probably never imagined you would be able to attain, right?
Well, I never thought professional. That never entered my mind. That was... I had 2 older brothers, and my mom and dad were working extremely hard to put them through a small college in North Carolina, and so when I heard the word scholarship, I was like, oh my God, I can get a free education, and my parents won't have to get grants and loans to try to get me money to go to college, and that was my incentive. So after I broke my ankle in college, my rookie year, my freshman year, I thought my basketball career was, kind of over. So I never really thought about the NBA. I just thought about, getting a college degree, and, I was fortunate enough to leave school after my junior year and join the Lakers. But I always had my degree in sight, and like a lot of guys do who spend 2 or 3 years in college, they go back and get their degree, and that's probably the most satisfying thing that I've probably achieved in my life.
Now, think about your career with the Lakers and the players you got to play with. I mean, the amazing fact, you talked about Sam Perkins, Michael Jordan, yourself on one team winning the national championship. Then you went to Showtime. So how about that? I mean, those are just 2 legendary teams for sure.
Well, I couldn't have asked for anything better. I mean, leaving North Carolina and winning the championship and being the most outstanding player and being drafted by the best team in the NBA. Lakers made a trade in 1978 that sent a couple of players to Cleveland for Cleveland's number 1 draft pick in 1982, and that's how I became a Laker. Because usually the number 1 draft pick goes to the worst team most of the time. So it was a blessing in disguise going from Dean Smith and then coming out here and playing with guys like Kareem, who played for John Wooden. Jamal Wilkes played for John Wooden. We had Pat Riley, who was a coach who played for Adolph Rupp in Kentucky. We had the great general manager, Jerry West. Magic Johnson played for a great college coach at Michigan State, Judd Hitchcock. So we were all well trained and well schooled in the game of basketball and teamwork and how to create synergy and cohesiveness. We already had that, and so it was a great collaboration of talent.
A definite great collaboration of talent, and think about the experience that you guys had on the floor. You were almost coaches on the floor with the great legends that coached you in college.
Yeah, we had guys that were verbal leaders like Magic and Michael Cooper, and guys on the bench like Bob McAdoo, who played at North Carolina as well. Mitch Kupchak played for Dean Smith. So we had guys who kind of, once we got together, we kind of knew, and it made it a lot easier for the coach to kind of implement his plan, and we had great leadership in the locker room and on the floor as well.
And you had that great leadership, and then winning those world championships. How did it feel to be a world champion when you won your first world title?
Well, you think about it, that's your ultimate goal. So if you can imagine, it's a very satisfying feeling after starting in October at training camp and working together with a group of guys, and then being able to, sometimes not get your goal, but when you got it, it was probably the most satisfying thing as a unit to know that you're the best in the world.
Absolutely, and the friendships you made in your career in the NBA, and to see the growth of the NBA from when you played to now, meaning the contracts and how large the NBA has grown. The Showtime really put, I believe, the NBA on the map. Between your rivalries with the Celtics for so many years, it just completely revolutionized the NBA, in my opinion, for sure, and Showtime.
Well, it was a good time for the NBA. We've got a new commissioner. Commissioner Stern came in with a new philosophy and a new infrastructure. Television contracts were construed, and you had Magic and Bird on the East Coast, West Coast, two great rivalries with a lot of history. Kind of, began that era. And then you had Philadelphia, and you had Detroit. You had some really good teams. Milwaukee was a good team. The Knicks with Bernard King, I just think there was a lot more parity. It wasn't a cakewalk for us, but it really changed the way people looked at the NBA and the game and the image, and I think that was the start of something really, really great.
James, you seem like a very humble man. How was your career in LA and the fact of the glitz and glamour, and how you kind of, you stayed yourself. You were not outspoken. You were a leader on the floor by example. How did you do that? Is that from how you grew up? You'd say in that type of way. Yeah.
Like most people, like most kids and most adolescents. We have great parents, and I did. I had great parents, and as I got older, I try to remember some of the things they tried to instill in my two older brothers and I, and humility is the best, and you do your job. You don't necessarily try to draw attention to yourself. Once you go for employment and you get your job, you just go out and do your job. And you go home and you try to repeat it. That's the only thing I tried to do. I didn't see myself as I just played ball basically. It was part of a great team. I was happy when people appreciated what I did, and I appreciated that. And I tried to use that as incentive to go out and be the best I could be at what I did.
Most definitely. We're talking to James Worthy, NBA Hall of Fame legend, world champion, and we're talking about his career and really learning about specifically James the person, and how he conducted himself on and off the court. Would you say, how did you keep yourself from not getting in trouble, especially with what L.A. and Hollywood can bring, especially playing for the Lakers for so many years, when there were during your time, there were a lot of issues going on with professional athletes in all sports, especially at that time?
I can't say that I, was eliminated myself from getting into some things that I probably shouldn't have. But you always learn from, your mistakes, in life, and try not to repeat them. And that's the key. People, sometimes when people make mistakes, they dwell on it, and they let that, define who they are. And you have to move forward, whatever it is. So I've always knew that I was a good person. I always knew I was willing, like giving back to the community and helping others. And I just kept that in mind. I never really tried to be anybody other than who I've always been. And so that's the key for me. That was my formula, was to live life one day at a time, be kind to others, and use your platform to do the best you can to bring those who are less fortunate, up to your level. And when you run into problems in life, you just you take responsibility for it, and you move on, and you don't repeat it, and you try to grow as a person. So that's always been my forte. I don't take things. I try not to attach a meaning to everything. Just as long as I know I'm doing the best I can do, and that's it. That's simple. Keep it simple.
You're definitely keeping it simple, James, and a lot of us fall into the cracks, but a lot of these athletes allow certain places like this to get caught up, and then they never have the opportunity to be a legend like yourself. You made maybe some decisions that weren't always the best, but all of us have made those mistakes in life, and we learn from them, and you utilize that. So when you decided to retire, and it came to one of the most difficult decisions to say, I'm going to no longer play basketball and think about life after basketball, was that a difficult thing for you?
I've seen guys before me move on. I knew that I wasn't going to play forever. You never think that when you first start out, when you're second year in the league. You never think, 5, 10 years from now it could be over, and you have to prepare for something else. That's why college is so important. That's why making sports secondary in your life. I try to tell kids all the time, you probably have a better chance of being an owner of a team, or a part owner, or an investor in a team than you would a player, just the way it is. And so you have to, prepare yourself to learn what business you're in, know how to read your contract. There's a lot of budgeting and financial, catching up you have to do that most kids at 19, 20 don't have that. They don't have that ability. So it takes a lot of effort to really catch up and learn your business and learn to prepare for life afterwards, because you're still young when you retire. Most of us are in our 30s. And in most cases, that's when most adults are really starting their businesses and starting to live their life. So it's a unique business that you have to strategize a lot.
You definitely, James, have to strategize, because, my 30s and when I finally got my mindset in life and stopped, living life for myself, but for my children and my family. And 30 is kind of an age where a lot of men really grow up in certain aspects and are ready to be an entrepreneur or to work for another person in certain ways. Certain people earlier, but a lot of times maturity of men, I'd say that 30-year-old mark. So that's what a lot of athletes is when they finally retire. This is the age they're at, and they're ready to go on for life after. So you thought about it. What did you decide, first of all, once your career was over? What did you get involved with?
I always wanted to do, radio or TV. As far as the broadcasting, and I took a year off. I tried to figure out, what my plan was going to be, and then I got into broadcasting right away with a local station here in Los Angeles. We did a lot of the Laker games, and a couple of years ago, Time Warner purchased the exclusive rights, so I'm over there now, and I've been doing that since 1998. So a lot of corporate speaking, motivational speaking, and some small ventures, some other small ventures that I'm involved with friends that I've known over the years to help them with their businesses and on a consulting basis. So just trying to learn more about different things in life. Try to stay busy.
So what do you like best about television, being involved in TV? Tell us what's your favorite thing.
The ability to teach, the ability to teach people something that they might not be aware of. A lot of people can go on the internet and look at stats and numbers, but sometimes to tell somebody why something happened and then show it on the screen, I enjoy that. Enjoy that part of it, and the creative aspect, being able to create unique stuff for people to have a different insight into the game.
Absolutely, and you're a teacher and you have a larger platform to explain things, especially when you look at the players today, and then once you took the different route, where you had to explain specifically what you learned in the game and to kind of explain it to people that might not understand the game. You enjoyed that a lot, didn't you? Especially, as you still do today, is looking at and breaking down a team and seeing specifically why they're either winning or losing in so many ways, right?
Well, anybody can look at a highlight, and anybody can say, great dunk or great pass. But there's 15, 20 seconds of action that happens before the main event usually. Usually there's a pick or there's a mistake on defense or there's something that went on throughout the play. And that's what I enjoy doing, just kind of figure out what might be said in a timeout, what to look for, just based on, what I've experienced over the years.
That's definitely true, James, and I see the teaching aspect of you is so important in everything. And you talked about you used your platform to help others. So tell us a little bit about your foundation and why you started it.
Well, the James Worthy Foundation can be found at jamesworthyfoundation.org. It's something that I always, was taught by my mom, really. My mother was the first humanitarian that I ever saw. And, when I was a young kid, she was a nurse, and she spent a lot of time in the neighborhood, tending to elderly people, making sure that they're, taking their blood pressure. When she got home from the hospital working, she would make sure that they were administering their medicine properly. I just saw her do a lot of things as a kid, so it just grew on me. And Coach Smith at the University of North Carolina, that was his main emphasis, was to use your platform for a purpose. And he was extremely conscious of that. So I always wanted to give back. I received a lot of help coming up through the boys' clubs and YMCAs and different teachers that would pull me to the side and say, hey, I see you're doing this with these guys. You don't need to do that. So I've always had that, big brother kind of thing over me. So we do a lot with the military.
Wow.
My hometown, we have a lot of people that go to the military, and they come home. We help them reorient themselves back into the community. Financially, help them with jobs, get certain requirements for job testing and training, that kind of thing. We also do a lot with kids at youth at risk, try to give them a different alternative through small businesses in the community. We try to pull a lot of kids off the football field and out of the gym and put them into real-life possibilities. And, we try to tell them that there's only 400 potential slots in the NBA, and there's 20, 30, 40 million people trying to get it. So we try to teach them about longevity and insurance and how that works as opposed to the short glamour life of being an athlete. And if you want to be an athlete, we tell them to be a student athlete first, and we just kind of teach them how to be an athlete. So we do a lot of stuff in the community with different organizations, help them with some of their entities, write bonds, and a lot of things that are surrounding community resources.
That's tremendous for sure, James, and definitely I could see from throughout our interview it's all about helping others and doing what's best for the community in general. Now, you were talking about you have some other ventures on the side of television, and one thing is, tell me why you've gotten involved in promoting Revive and Revitalize.
Well, as an athlete, you're always looking for the maximum, maximum product and, what's healthy, the maximum healthy product to put in your body. So, I can remember, my first vitamin was, I think, probably ginseng. Some people with the ginseng thing was going on. Then it was bee pollen, and so you're always looking for a supplement to maximize your energy. And I have two daughters, and I watched them go through this energy drink thing with a lot of variety of different energy drinks that have become somewhat dangerous with some of the ingredients that are in there, some of the enhancement in your energy level that it takes you to, and then it's really not, healthy. So when I was approached by Rushmore, who puts the product Revive out, and they told me that they're moving away from energy drink. In fact, we don't have an energy drink. We have a vitality drink.
Oh, okay.
Which has 21 superfruits in it. 21 superfruits meaning all natural fruits that are that are not chemically processed, and a lot of things that your doctor would tell you to eat. Like when I go to my doctor, he says eat blueberries and a lot of different variety of fruits that. And so this is what Revive is. It helps you to sustain the energy that you already have. We all have energy within us that needs to be generated somehow maybe through what you eat or how you exercise, but it's there. And what Revive does is it sustains that, and it doesn't take you way up somewhere and then drop you off.
Yeah. The
drop off is not good, and so that's what it does. It does it, and it's a healthy supplement that your doctor would advise. And we do have one that has a little bit of green tea in it. So if you want that extra little boost, there's one with a little green tea. And so we are now focusing on Rebuild. There are different drinks for rebuilding for people who are experiencing different challenges with weight and stuff like that. So we are in the process of coming up with some really good products that have been out for 3 or 4 years and are on the market. And, so it's a growing company that's really about educating people and then letting them make the right choice.
Definitely, James, and I think that through your platform, especially when you see that you believe in living a healthy lifestyle, staying in great shape, that you're happy to promote a product that is healthy for you and yet also will give you the energy to go throughout the day. We talk about entrepreneurs, we talk about people that need that extra energy when they might not get the sleep they need. This is something that will give them that extra incentive to stay going right through.
Well, and people think that a lot of people, physical energy is important, but more importantly, you've always heard the cliche, the quote, mind over matter, and this is really a mind energy drink as well as the body. So when your mind is able to stay focused and you're able to have longevity in what you're doing mentally, it transfers a message to your body that says, I'm cool, I'm focused. And so when that message goes from your brain to your body, you have that physical energy to, it's only when you tell yourself, I'm tired, or I don't feel good. When you tell yourself that, that's what you're telling your body. So Revive allows you to mentally stay focused. It has a lot of different fruits that are combined together that give you the mental stability that transfers into being able to sustain your entire body energy throughout the day. And
I know, James, that living a healthy lifestyle is very important to you, so you're definitely sticking by the product. You would not endorse something that you say, is not healthy, because living a healthy lifestyle is very important to you, isn't it, James?
I don't know, maybe 25 years ago, I heard Bill Cosby talking about his Jell-O commercials, and people were saying, "Why are you doing these Jell-O commercials? Because you're getting paid so much money." He said, "Look, I get a chance to promote a different product every day. I only promote things that I use and I believe in. So it only makes sense to go that route. Because you don't want to promote something that you haven't tried or that you haven't been educated about, and you don't want to mislead people. That's not cool. So, try to keep it up front and keep it real, and that's I sleep well at night after that concept."
All right, well, fantastic, James. Where can we find information on the products so our listeners can learn more about the different products, Rebuild, Reshape, Refocus, the different drinks, and the ingredients and stuff?
Yeah, go to Rushmore.com or Revive.com, and you should be able to see all the different variety of fruit juices and for different health issues. That's a delicious, youthful antioxidant, and that's what I would do. Rushmore Essentials and Rushmore.com.
All right, well, fantastic. Do you have a website of your own? What you already told? Is it JamesWorthyFoundation.org? Is for your
yes,
your foundation?
That is the foundation website, JamesWorthy.org, and I also have my Facebook and some other stuff. But go to JamesWorthyFoundation.org, and you will be able to find all the information necessary.
Well, James, I enjoyed taking the time. Best of luck with the rest of the season, and I thanks again for taking the time, James.
You got it, buddy.
All right, take care, man.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Total Celebrity Show on the Total Radio Network, and we'll be back in just a moment.